Pastor Tobi.
Good evening, my sisters.
Good evening. So, Pastor Tobi,
it's so sad to be hearing
let me
this
keep you
case.
abreast. I know you've been following the story very keenly, like every one of us has. I have not been able to do anything. Even at night, I try to force myself to do something relationship, but at the end of the day, still come back to Mohbad. Even when I preach, it will still come back to me. So it's been a whole week of trauma over the loss of this star, this angel, this young man who was so promising, a voice from the ghetto. I came from the ghetto, so I understand. The ghetto is like quicksand. The more you fight it, the more it sucks you in. And it sucked him in eventually at the end of the day. Today, his body was exhumed, and today there's a candlelight procession going on. Pastor Tobi, my good friend and brother, is here. I want to hand over to him and hear what he has to say. So over to you, Pastor Tobi.
It's quite sad to hear. I've not been active on social media, but I started hearing people texting and stuff like that. It was confusing at first. Didn't know what was going on, didn't know what happened. So it was difficult to make any comment, as nobody seemed to be sure of what is going on. But now that we know, we're all joining our forces to say that there must be justice for Mohbad, for Imole, and of course, those of us who can put resources together, finances together, we're going to do so to make sure that we support the family and of course also support the call for justice for Mohbad. So I thank you for this platform. I've been listening to what my sisters are saying, and I think it's much aligned. All of us steer together so that one of my sisters here just said about how she thinks that they intentionally go to the ghetto to get these guys signed on labels without proper due diligence. I think we can all join hands and use this case as an example or a deterrence from such. Those who are poor, those who are trying to rise, we must all support them and make sure that they have a better life, their talent is used. Of course, businesses must also do well, but we have to make sure that the people running those businesses are treated fairly, with justice and with the fear of God. So we're going to send our support to the family. You will guide me on this, Daddy Freeze. We will send it to the family.
Absolutely.
Or
we're going to...
Or lawyers or whatever we have to do. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Thank you so much, Pastor Tobi, for alleging resources. There's nothing you want to do in Nigeria that does not require resources.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking of, because a lot of people have stood up for the wife and the child. To me, they are the most important. Forget Papa, forget Mama, and the wife and Pekin. I don't worry so much about the previous generation the way I worry about the next generation. Nigeria is a failure because we worried over the last generation instead of the next generation. Instead of investing our resources in the next generation, we invested it in the previous generation. So resources should be. But one thing that needs to be done, this man needs to be buried properly. Not like a rat, not like a chicken that you throw on a dumpster. You know, if you are rearing chicken and one of them buy, you go just carry and throw for refuse heap. That's not how it's going to be done. He is deserving of a proper burial, not press neck casket. Pity. I wish you had seen the coffin where they used to take buried, not be in size. They can't break a neck or bend the neck or set the neck one way just to put him in the ground. They took him to the place in a Sienna. I don't even know why they didn't drag him on the floor, the coffin on the floor from the house to had this. As in, no proper hearse where all his fans worldwide.
Yeah.
I think some resources, I may be wrong, maybe it's me acting out of place, but I'm thinking that since nobody has started putting resources for a proper and befitting funeral, I think some resources need to go in that regard. My ladies, what do you think?
I believe so too. Even if it's to get him a good place in one of the private cemeteries, that way he can get a proper stone and everything, and then a very, very good funeral. You know, the service of songs, everything organized and involving everybody, because everyone is invested in this, so where everyone can attend, you know, and pay their last respects. As I fully support the idea.
Yeah, you're so right, and I think they should not bury him at that place he was previously buried. That land, that compound, like Priya said, a private cemetery where his body will be guarded properly, because I don't trust any member of that his immediate family. Sorry.
Okay. Pastor Tobi has a church service every Thursday, so I just kidnapped him briefly from his journey to that place, PT. I'm honored that you joined me live. I know that it's not easy to get you out of your very hectic schedule. And I appreciate you. We'll let you know what we're planning and what we would want to support, whether it's a bit of the funeral expenses or a bit of the child or whatever it is. We'll come back to you. I know you need to go right now. I'm sorry I took you out of your place. We'll talk later.
No, this is very important, and I thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for committing to this awesome cause. So we'll talk later.
Thank you.
This has been one of the most difficult periods in Nigeria's election. No do reach like this.
Election no do reach like this. So this one enter me.
This is the first time when Tinubu supporters, Obi supporters, and Atiku supporters all come together. That what is going on?
This one entered my blood.
And it also showed the lapses in Nigeria.
It just exposed everything, that somebody can be declared dead and the next minute the body can be taken somewhere, and the next minute anybody can just do anything. Like it was.
That's why he's abroad.
Who declared the person?
Who declared him dead? What was the cause of the death? Because we just saw video. Mohbad is dead. Mohbad is dead.
Let's say bye because of community guidelines.
Bye, sorry.
No, it's okay, my sister.
We just said it was off, you know. Oh, he don't go. Next thing we saw a funeral. The next thing we heard property. Like it just went so fast. By the time we're hearing from the dad.
Now, so poor people did. Any small thing like this, property.
DF is not about being poor.
No,
this person was.
Oh, now poor man mentality. Any small thing like this, property. Dukia.
Exactly.
Dukia.
Most times when somebody dies, the first 48 or 72 hours, the whole family won't even have the energy to plan one thing. You see family, friends, and your extended family members coming around to even help them put their heads together to even begin to say, oh, that's why a mortuary is there. But this one, you just went so fast.
Please, I
don't care the tradition that he followed. I don't care the tradition that he followed. According to him, it's tradition, but for me, I don't think that tradition exists in Nigeria. The only people that can bury so quick are Muslims. And even at that, they have, I think, 3 days or so. This one is the fastest I've ever seen.
Is that how they bury somebody like that in Canada?
No. When you've not notified the government, once they deposit a body in the mortuary, the family will have to go and register the funeral in a funeral home, and then also notify the government, because immediately that person's social security, everything they've been entitled to, their social security has to be paused because they no longer exist. and the process of declaring the person dead and producing a death certificate, which comes from the government, must begin. So you can't just come and say, I'm putting somebody down. To even book space in the cemetery is a whole process. You will sign here, sign there. So nobody can even do that. When there's a spouse, no father or mother, no cousin can come and bury somebody where there's a spouse. It will not even happen. It's on record. Who is the spouse of this person? Nobody can do nothing without the spouse. And if there are kids that are adults, that are not minors, without their consent, it cannot happen. So I don't understand. It just expose how shitty our system is and how vulnerable people are. People are vulnerable. People are many people that you even think are okay are actually vulnerable. There are many people in loveless families that just are surrounded by toxic siblings or parents. They are just alone in their space with all these evil people that don't want to focus on the future. So as Daddy Freeze was saying earlier, if you are surrounded by toxic family, please don't kill yourself. Don't be sentimental. You can depart from that setting and build your life. Sometimes out of sentiments, people still open the door for their toxic family members. At the end of the day, it doesn't lead anywhere. In fact, people end up dying. There are many people that have left toxic family members to come in only for their child to be poisoned, for instance. You don't want that. So please, if you can, run. Live to fight another day. You don't even have to have run. There's no fight or challenge you are doing with those kind of people. Just run, cut them off if you can. As much as you can. Not if. It's not an if matter. It's necessary so that you survive. If you are in a toxic situation, please get away from it immediately.
Agreed. Remy, how are you doing, and welcome? We want to hear from you.
Hi, dear. Hello, everybody. Adam.
Hi, Remy.
Are you
welcome?
Better now?
I'm good.
Bless you. Dear, for those asking for DNA, I don't get it. They are indirectly bullying the child. Because look, if they carry out a DNA and it turns out that the child is not Mohbad's, then what will happen to the child? He will forever be stigmatized. Do you get what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. They should leave the poor child. Okay? Mohbad acknowledged the child as his. He loved him, and that's enough. Okay? People should just focus on what is important right now and learn their lessons. What have they learned? What lessons?
Learn now. That's why we're Nigerian. We know.
What have we learned? Nigerians, some Nigerians, let me not say everyone, empowered Naira Marley.
Yes.
Do you get it? They empowered him. The cretin came out one time and said he wants to sleep with a mother and daughter at the same time.
You see, hold on, Remy. Let's not go into. I'm trying as much as possible to avoid.
I remember that thing when it happened.
Let's stay away from there. Let's navigate those waters. Let's focus on Mohbad now. You understand? Because it is very, like I keep saying, it's very easy for this thing to go in another direction and start a whole war in the ghetto. Another 20 people will be off again. So let's stay away from the toxicity and focus on the main issues. We cannot ascertain. We need the police to come up with their investigation and tell us, okay, where was Naira Marley when this guy died? Where were all these other people? What we know is the father jumped the gun. That one is not, that cannot be debated. We don't need the police to tell us, for us to know that somebody was buried too early. So what you are digging up is like the same people digging up for DNA. Let us wait for the police to tell us before we start swinging into action, because I worry about citizens. When they start swinging into action, they don't hear stop. So just the way we are doing away with the DNA nonsense, we're also doing away with anything that is speculation. I said this earlier on. We need proper cases established. Of course, all these people need to be interrogated. But we need proper cases to be established. And you're not going to establish it on social media because you watch one video here, one video here. Somebody said something 2 years ago. Somebody said something last month. Somebody, at the end of the day, you will what is called, it's called muddying the waters. And when you muddy the waters, the real culprits are going to walk. As they have carried the body now, first question is, why was he buried in a hurry? Police need to answer that. If the father was put under pressure, who put the father under pressure? They will go and bring that person. But let us not start jumping to make assumptions. Nigerians worship in the church of assumption. And I don't like that whole narrative of looking for somebody to pin. Let there be a proper investigation. Don't worry, the police cannot cheat us. That year when police will come and tell us another thing happened, and that it cannot happen now. We are watching. We are not dumb. Let's deal with the facts. Let's put aside the assumptions. Because that assumption is also making the wife look bad. If we are dealing with assumptions. Hello? The wife is also a suspect if we are dealing with assumptions. So let us be careful how we handle assumptions and let us deal with facts. Fact is undeniable. Why was he buried? Somebody came out and said they wanted to bury him at midnight. They didn't allow them. As soon as day broke the next day, they buried him. That's not an assumption. That's a fact. Let's address those things. You understand? Let's address those things. And let me tell you something. Even though I may disagree with it, the family may require a DNA test. It is possible. The family may require it. At the end of the day, Nigerians fight over property. If there are any issues concerning property, they might want to establish the legitimacy of a child.
But then they should keep it private. It is not our business to know.
Oh, you see, that's why now it doesn't happen like that. You see, let me tell you, yeah. Sometimes you go after one person, and that person now comes and says, okay, as I don't come after me, I tell you everything will happen. They can't now start to mention other people. Before you know it, the water don't muddy. When the waters are clear, we can see the bottom of the matter. When the waters are muddy, we can't see the bottom. Every single person mentioned must be picked up and questioned. But let us not become judge and jury and start establishing that it was this person, it was this person, it was this person. Let the law take its course. God forbid, Remy, if your brother was with him on the last day saying follow and go show, no be waiting with a talk today. Abroad, as long as he can prove that he doesn't have a motive, as long as he can prove that he has an alibi. Nigeria no one hear alibi, they no one hear motive. Go long but come. Already they don't robe nurse, they don't robe the friend we carry him. And the case is getting more and more murky. I've been reading the messages. More people are saying they want DNA than the ones that are saying they don't want DNA. So let's
DNA
be careful for the child.
All three, even the dad and Mohbad.
No, it doesn't work like that.
No,
it doesn't work like that.
Should.
It doesn't work like that. Sadly, it doesn't work like that. When the family asks for DNA, they're going to ask for DNA of the child. Whether you like it or not, Mohbad, the answer is Papa's name. And
no, but
the father will at least be on a trustee for him. You see, you've got to. That's why I'm saying you have to be very careful. These are pathways that we cannot just navigate with emotions and sentiments.
Are we thinking about the child? Look, you know where I stand with DNA here.
Remy, we are not thinking about the child. We are thinking about Mohbad.
Really?
Yes. Primarily. Okay. Ada, you did not sleep for 2 days. Was it the child that did not let you sleep? Very good. So we are thinking about Mohbad. And 90% of the people here are thinking about Mohbad. And that, read, DNA or no DNA, Let's ask. DNA or no
video-
DNA? Me, I'm against DNA. I don't think they need it. But ask the people. Type DNA or type no DNA. We have 2,000 people watching. We're counting it.
Let's focus on
Count it. Wait. Let's do it empirically.
Exactly my
DNA or no
point.
DNA? Wait now. 2,000 people. Let's put it to vote. DNA or no DNA? Let's start. They'll start typing now. DNA 1, no DNA 1, DNA 2, no DNA 2, no DNA 3, no DNA 4, DNA 2, DNA 3, DNA 4, 4, DNA 5, 4, no DNA 5, no DNA 6, DNA 6, DNA 7, 6, no DNA 7, DNA 8, 7, no DNA 8, DNA 9, 8, no DNA 9, DNA 10, 9, DNA 11, 9, DNA 12, 9, no DNA 12, 10, no DNA 12, 11, DNA 13, 11. I'm counting the scores for you. Let's set up a poll. How do you set up a poll in the comment section?
Because look, yes, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do DNA. I'm not saying DNA is not important. I'm saying that is not.
It's a huge distraction. But what I'm trying to tell, Remy, what I was trying to tell Remy was, Remy came from things Naira Marley said. Baba, if we start going about things Naira Marley said, before you know, they will say the things the wife said. There was a video where the wife was quarreling with him. We are going to bring in everything. Then I was seeing a video today with Mohbad and Naira where there were guns on the table and what looked like substance in one corner. Please, those are all distractions. We are muddying the waters. You are taking away the merit of the case. The merit of the case is, why was he buried in a hurry? Why was he buried in a hurry?
His parents failed him. They totally failed him.
The merit of a case.
And the girl wasn't even involved in the burial. Yeah, the girl wasn't involved in the burial.
These are issues.
Yeah. She was left out completely on the burial of her husband. She could not even locate. In fact, they did it before she could blink.
How do I run a poll? I want to run a poll. How do I run a poll?
You have to do that on your story.
I thought it was something we could do live. Now.
On your Insta story.
The merit of the case, somebody said, is the bullying. Yes, that's a very, very important part of it. And like I always say, every Nigerian artist is bullied. I know what it's like. I work on radio now. Do you know how many record labels have written to radio station not to play the song of an artist because the artist has issues with the record label? Ada, you know now.
Yeah.
So you see, we need to, there's a darkness in the industry. And have you noticed that a lot of record label executives are quiet?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't you noticed? It's easy to point to the record label that is coming from. Where did they learn it from? This is what you call industry practice. They do it without shame, without any recourse to shame. So we are trying to sanitize the future of the industry. And in all of this, the only thing we know for a fact so far, you know me, Priye, I like working with what's on the table. First things first, why was he buried in a hurry?
Yeah.
The father said that's Yoruba tradition. It might be Yoruba tradition, but I disagree. Yoruba tradition does not say bury at midnight. There's something fishy. Like if Remy comes home one day and I ask her, Remy, where are you coming from? And she says she's coming from school, that her answer can trigger another set of questioning. Especially if I was coming from the school and they say Remy has not been there for 3 days. So the best way to handle these issues is by